All right, everyone, give me a minute and we'll share some links to the Twitter and Discord. All right, we got a lot of charts to look at. It's late. Let's take them one at a time. This was an idea I shared on Twitter. Talked about a lot of alts on today's live stream. Actually, we'll take a look at those. But the idea was just coming down and taking all these equal lows on the daily chart here. Now, it's probably, let's call it unlikely, there's just a straight up V-shaped correction. We might get one. Some of these alts we're going to be looking at have moved a lot. They moved a lot instantly. Links up 10% already. So finding late entries can be kind of tough. Be looking, hoping for some structure to form. And that's going to be the kind of theme here, is waiting and seeing if some structure forms for a little bit of maybe come back, retest these highs, come back into these lows for a cleaner entry after some structure forms. It's a nice idea, but unless you catch the wick there, it's a little tough to trade on this reaction. But we're going to look at a bunch of alts here. Earlier on today's live stream, somebody asked me what I thought of SHIB. I kind of like the idea of wiping out a bunch of liquidity, looking for longs down the lows here. Some nice equal lows down here. You know, I think one way to play this would be to just wait. That's probably what I'm going to do. I didn't catch longs on many of the alts I charted, just all happened too quick. Was asleep at the wheel a little bit, didn't have the orders prepared. Come down, take these lows, reclaim them. Could be a nice tight invalidation long trigger on SHIB. Otherwise, just wait for structure to form. This was another one, Pepe. I talked about the idea of shorting into this, but basically just saying on today's live stream, if you think something like this is impossible, you've become delusional, right? I mean, this is the kind of thing that happens in the market all the time. Come wipe out all this. We had this SR flip here, grinding. Come wipe out all this liquidity, which we did. Pinged right off the lows of this. That was the long I was interested in. Come take that low. Again, really going to have to keep an eye on local structure here for some of these. You know, can we come up and retest this? Maybe get a nice retracement. Get something a little cleaner with a little tighter invalidation. Otherwise, coming and retesting the level would work too. My plan is going to be to come look at a bunch of these charts tomorrow and see where they're at. I do have a little Pepe long. That was one of the ones I was eager to get into. But this was a nice idea on Pepe for a big flush. But again, I think we're going to see some structure form. And when I say wait to see what structure forms, I mean from now until tomorrow. Maybe we don't. Maybe it just goes straight up. But I guess you should have been ready to long it. Because again, I don't know about longing here, coming down, retesting, just retesting this level 16% away. So I'm going to see what structure forms on Pepe coming into tomorrow. We have a bit of an SR flip here. Maybe this holds as a local resistance. We get some retest back down to this level. Could be a nice idea. Otherwise, claiming this level, forming some structure, looking for longs on a reclaim of an established level might be interesting as well. Pepe's been bothering me a little bit because I've just missed so many clean setups because I just haven't been paying that much attention to the chart. And going back and looking at how clean all these SR flips have been. But it was worth looking at some levels. Again, FET, I talked about on the live stream today as well. Noting that we had like a little bit of a range forming here and a couple levels to look at. But if we broke down the local lows of this range, the idea of coming down and taking these lows here look pretty interesting, which we have. But again, I think what I'd be looking for personally is some structure to form here. And what that means is I'm definitely gonna be updating charts in the Discord over the coming days, and I'll definitely throw a few on Twitter. We can SR flip here. Maybe come retest this wick low, something like that. We're gonna just have to see how structure forms, and probably just not assume a V-shaped recovery on FET or anything. We may get that, but if you wanted to trade towards that, I think the most prudent way to do it would be to have had some longs prepared on some of these liquidity sweeps. Someone said they just joined, don't know if I charted Say. We can take a look at Say. But again, most of these alts we're up 23% from that wick. Something like that. So longing here, I don't know. Doesn't seem so advisable. Wait for some of this low time frame. You know, we have an SR flip here. Come back down to a retracement. We form a local low, come back down and retest it. Look for longs off setups like that. That could make sense. Yeah, we'll take a look at Say. Say actually hasn't reached the target I was looking at earlier today. Not to say that it will. I haven't talked about a short idea on today's live stream earlier on Say. So what I was noting on Say was just we have this rounded kind of grinding structure developing. It can be a little tough to short. You can get these wicks, but just saying that, you know, always looking for these I call them grinding rounded structures. You'll find them on the charts quite often. They can happen to the upside or the downside, but they really like to end in an impulse. And so I was saying that there's probably even a case that although Say was technically at support here, marking out this level, we're bouncing off this SR flip. This would be a case where I'd probably, if I was going to take a trade on Say, I wouldn't long the support. I would actually be looking to take that breakdown trade. And the target for me on Say would be to come and take all these lows. And that's where I'm quite interested in a long. Come down and run this low, retest this wick. Start looking for longs down there. Always wait for a reclaim of this level as well. But, you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, there's not a lot of structure here. We are getting a reaction. Maybe price forms some structure. Maybe we come retest. Maybe we push a little higher. But I have alert set down here for Say around 53 cents, 50 to 53 cents. Going to be looking in that region for a long off a clean reaction. Again, I'll update these charts in the Discord as well tomorrow. We can review some of them. Give me a second. My computer's struggling to upload something here. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin too. Big nasty wick on XRP here. Still kind of holding this local uptrend. I think the name of the game is going to be patient a little bit here as we form some structure. I'll say this actually wasn't, it doesn't really matter, but wasn't my trade. I was talking to somebody who was just explaining some trades they were taking, and they kept taking multiple stop losses at a level, but they're trading them really tight, like 0.3%, 0.2% stop losses, and I suggested maybe trading them a little wider. But let's take a look at SOL really quick. Got this ascending structure as a possibility. We front ran a major high here, kind of double topped it. Let's clean up the chart a little bit. Definitely some interaction at some of these levels. Pretty strong. SOL's chart's a little different than some of the ones we've looked at. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these alts just kind of carry a strong rally back into the highs, but assuming a little bit of structure, so say for example, something like this, you have this big wick, you have a rally, then you start forming some structure. Eventually we came back down and took the low of that wick, but it took a little while. So, you know, keeping an eye out for something like that instead of FOMOing into a big wick reaction 20% higher might be prudent. Be kind of interesting to come and take. This was a perfect GP, or pretty close. 618. Yeah, I mean, probably would be looking for something like this on SOL to see price come and form some structure and come back down and fill this wick. Look for a long off that. It's nice to have some of that structure to play off of, whether you get it or not. It's a kind of a common structure, so some of these alts are likely to form it. Let's take a look at Bitcoin really quick. So Bitcoin's daily chart, pretty clear here. I can kind of give you a quick review of how I'm positioned. I took a stop in here, and I'll explain that long. I do have a partial short running from today's live stream. I shorted the top of that wick. Had a pretty nice little series of trades. Got a long here, got a long on this retracement, got a long here up into all-time highs. On the rejection, took profits, flipped short. I covered half of that short pretty quickly, and then left the rest running risk-free. And where I took a stop loss was here. I took this long, I took a stop. 1 hour stop after some really beautiful longs up into this level. I'm okay with that. Cut it, was looking for lower. This is a key idea, coming and taking all these daily candle lows and reclaiming them. Certainly a long trigger on a reaction, but I'm going to wait for some structure to form into tomorrow's trading session. See if I can get a clean entry on something like a retest, and that would be the primary idea for me on Bitcoin. looking for a move back down into this level for a retest long, and I would be interested in taking that. Just taking it like this. Back towards all-time highs. It's around $60,000, $60,500, 60,400. This could be the top of a wave 3 that we've just ran into. So if that's the case, and wave 3's coming in here, well, we might get a reaction here, but we could start looking for an A, kind of B, C, move back into the 48K region. And that's where I would certainly be interested in swing longs, targeting for a wave 5 move. But being a little patient with this corrective structure and maybe being open-minded to a corrective structure developing and not price just continuing to pump to all-time highs. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on the coming days and just see how price is reacting and how order flow is developing as we consolidate. Because this is a big rejection here. But yeah, pretty fun day of trading. Took a stop, but obviously when you have asymmetric risk reward, the longs are looking a lot nicer than the are a lot bigger than the stops. Do I wish I'd kept my entire short position open for this whole move down? Yes, but I'm happy to have some of it running. So much heavy selling coming into this on the way down. But anyways, we have clear structure. Waiting for price to interact with it. Waiting for a retest seems interesting. Or if we start consolidating with really bullish absorption, just look for a long in that. But no reason for me to rush into a position. All right, let me look at some of the comments here. Somebody said, were you afraid? Basically, were you afraid and closed the short from all-time highs early? No, I certainly wasn't afraid. We had what was it, like 120 million volume in this initial reaction. And I'll be honest, I leaned towards a push up. So I just said, hey, I've taken profits on my longs. I'm in a short. I have profits locked in on that. I don't really care what happens here. Price can go up, it can go down. Everything's in profits. Risk is completely removed. I'll let the rest run. And is what it is. Still nice. Still a nice trade. Obviously, very possible that we have a nice move up to the upside. The only reason I'm not too worried about charting local levels right now and maybe looking for a continuation short or whatever is because I'm going to go to sleep soon. So I'm going to wake up and see where the charts are at and make my trading plan accordingly. But definitely a nice reaction sweeping these daily candle lows. Thank you. Somebody says, not trading related, but your thumbnails look sweet. Compliments of AI. But yeah, I mean, this super nice entry grabbing along off of this getting something out of this reaction. But my guess is, if my experience means anything, is that after these big wick reactions here, there's typically opportunities to find longs off of the structure that follows. So I'm not really in any kind of FOMO, and if I don't, also don't care. Or shorts, but we'll just see how things develop. Part of me just wanted to come into the live stream and say, hey, the world's not ending. Well, it might be feeling like it if you just got completely liquidated and wrecked. But that aside, and you can always bounce back from that, by the way. There's no reason to fall into, it's just money at the end of the day. But so I'm not going to be flippant about people who probably did just get absolutely smoked. But as far as the market goes, I mean, maybe you've missed entries, or you've just taken a series of losses, whatever it is. There's going to be lots of opportunities, and it doesn't hurt to be patient in times like this. You know, we can look at let's just take a look at a naked chart for a second. Or semi-naked. Let's just turn all this off. All right. We've had some pretty nasty wicks in the past. This one was pretty big. We got some nice structure. This was over many, many days. These are daily candles. Price came in, ran these local highs, had another sell-off, more ranging. There's typically, I'm not going to say always, sometimes you have sequential big dumping candles, which is another reason to maybe not rush into anything. But there's typically lots of structure that forms after these big bearish candles. So I'm not really in a hurry. I'm kind of interested to see what forms after this. Tons of liquidity wiped out. How does the market react? Do I probably lean a little bit more bullish than bearish? Yeah, probably still. Probably leaning a little more bullish than bearish for a push deeper into all-time highs. But just means I'm going to be looking for nice longs at nice key levels in the coming days or week. And I'll still be willing to take shorts. Like I said at today's live stream, I'm completely open to price just breaking through all-time highs and carrying my longs higher. But if we don't, and we just reject and trap a bunch of longs, I'm just going to take a short. Don't need to think much about it. I have my invalidation. I'll just take the short. And so, I don't know. How's everyone feeling? I'm not saying there's not any trades to be taken in this environment, and you know, there's not ways to get long or short and use risk management. Just saying that I'm perfectly happy to wait for some structure to form. Well, order flow, someone's asking how order flow is looking. We can take a look at it real quick here. I mean, kind of got to say it's leaning kind of bullish, but it has been for a little while now, which is why I took a long earlier. As far as volume and delta, I mean, yeah, there's a lot. 286 million volume in this 15-minute candle, 44 million negative delta at the lows. Huge liquidity grab. Quite nice, really. Compare it to the volume at the highs. Pre-dump. Well, it's kind of hard to do in a 15-minute candle, but most of this volume came in after the high was made. It all came in on the downside. Not a lot of FOMO volume at the highs. But yeah, I mean, there's still bullish absorption forming across these lows. And one of the reasons I lean bullish. IBIT has been, this is the BlackRock ETF, has just been selling off like mad and getting absorbed. I'm taking some of this data with a grain of salt because it's brand new, and it'd be nice to get a feel for the participants in this data, but theoretically this should be quite bullish for Bitcoin, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on that information. But yeah, we can just see CBDs making almost a low against this $50,600 low, and this just looks like running a lot of liquidity. Would I be a little disappointed I didn't take that long if I wake up and we're at all-time highs? Maybe a little bit, but but I'll be able to find longs up there if they're to be had, so it's not the end of the world. But anyways, those are my thoughts. I mean, we have some structure, prices interacting with it, looking for some local structure on Bitcoin, a retest of these lows would be the most clear idea. Let's get rid of all these scribbles I drew here. Those again are just the daily candle lows that we ran. Come retest that, that'd be interesting. Anyways, I'll take a couple altcoin requests just because I got you all on here. And this isn't a very maybe exciting live stream. Okay, let's take a look at Rune. Probably been a while since I charted Rune. The dynamic on these charts is a little different. Probably just a, I was gonna say probably just a 786 ping. Alts love to do that. Just retracing 78.6% of the move. Just clean interaction there. I mean, yeah, those are just kind of those sniper, like the market's dumping entries on something like this on the 786. Again, I just wait for some structure to form. It's gonna sound really boring. This little, we had this little wick before this move down. It would come and take that up into the value area high. It'd be a nice area to look for a high to come in here. So something like this. And for swing long, maybe a retracement to this level. Get some local structure forming. Maybe we have a local low here. Come and take it, reclaim it. Could be a long trigger. I did Pepe earlier. I did Say earlier as well. Take a quick look at FTM. Take a look at FTM and we'll wrap it up. I'm sorry if this wasn't the live stream everybody was hoping for. It is super late for me. Well, it's 10:30 p.m. And I actually didn't sleep much last night because I did a live stream till 2 a.m. last night because of potential all-time highs. I did a live stream this morning and a live stream tonight. Somebody said I'm becoming a streamer. Apparently, might have to cool it on that a little bit. Just takes a lot of time. Is the juice worth the squeeze? No, live streams are really good. All right, got a messy chart here on FTM. We'll clean it up a bit. Got a bit of this swing long left on FTM from down on these lows. I shared this a long time ago. This is back in January. I'm not going to go into it. I talked about this even on today's live stream. But I've taken a lot off of that. FTM chart is kind of crazy. I mean, I would prefer to just see some structure form. That's going to be the theme. Structure form, and come maybe take some of these lows into this, like take these lows, this impulse low. And ironically, I'd be essentially adding back to my FTM long where I took profits on it from this one. I mean, my price was up 50%. This was a key level. But I wouldn't mind seeing something like this. This was the key high to reclaim. We had a little claim and then a wick through it, and then price, and that's what trailed me out on some of my position. But I wouldn't mind seeing something. Let's clean up the charts. Whatever. I don't care what the structure is that much here. Come and take these lows. Retest this level one more time. And I'd be interested in looking and adding back to my long there. Probably a little bit of confluence here. Yeah, so it'd be the GP of the move. That'd be interesting to me. That could take a week or 2 weeks. Maybe it comes tomorrow. But I'd be interested in taking that long for a continuation long. No, I don't use any indicators. Somebody just a newbie question. I've noticed you don't use any indicators. Do you ever use MACD, RSI, etc., or do you just let price action guide you? I just chart price action and I look at order flow. Yeah. FIL with the big sweep of this high. Old chart here. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I like to wait for some structure to form. maybe see something like this, come and retest this high. Coming and retesting this level and sweeping this wick, yeah, that'd be an interesting long to me. I'd set an alert for it. Something like this. If I can run that a little tighter. I'm curious what the GP comes from these pivots. Put an alert here on FIL. I'll tell you guys what, I'm getting some more altcoin requests. I'm going to be honest, there's nothing really on a lot of these coins to really do here. I mean, waiting for some structure to form, like the setup, yes, some might have clean setups. I haven't looked at all the coins that are approaching or haven't hit. But most of these are gonna, again, benefit from just waiting for some structure to form. We'll look at render really quickly. I thought I'd just check in and we could review a few charts. I'm gonna dive into them tomorrow. And take some time to update the Discord with a bunch of charts, and I'll throw some on Twitter like I said. Probably not going to do a live stream tomorrow. You never know. I did tell the members I would do one if I was awake if we did retest all-time highs, so that's always possible. I mean, would have taken these little impulse. There's no structure here, right? So you can kind of see this will be a really. I'll make this sort of educational to an extent. So you have this really structuralist area of the chart, right? This is the origin of an impulse. So you can see price broke up, consolidated, and then impulsed and started ranging up here. Formed a range, rejected from the highs of the range. Now we broke down this local range and price moved very quickly through this structuralist area of the chart. That's quite common. And it moved quickly through to the origin of that impulse where price started forming structure and swept the liquidity below it before a nice reaction. Those are really nice setups. So yeah, I mean, had you been like many of these charts, looking to long any of these types of sweeps after sweeping the structuralist area of the chart, would have been a nice setup. But again, I would just be looking for, at this point, I'm not gonna, this is the long, right? This isn't the longs for me. So I'd be waiting for some structure to form. Wait for a new setup. A retest. Maybe some local structure to form. Okay, I'll do Myro. Someone's asked for Myro twice. I don't think I have. If it's a random, let's see. So some of these, I'll just tell you, there's nothing for me to do here on a chart that has like no price history, and it's just like the most recent history is a straight up daily candle 160%. Because I mean, not that we can't get into nitty gritty, but anything that's going to be relevant here is on these low time frames, right? The 15-minute chart. So, you know, if you're, I don't know if you're a member of the Discord or not, but if you're wanting to trade a coin like this, like a new coin with no price history, impulsing 160% in a day, I mean, you got to be in here doing, there's anything I chart today probably is not going to be relevant, or tonight isn't going to be relevant tomorrow. And you know, nice little rejection from the GP though. This wick straight up into the GP here. 90% straight up. I mean, probably the key idea here would be at some point, I'm not saying it will, if you're long Myro from the bottom and you're trying to hold it to $70, you do you. But structurally coming, taking these lows and reclaiming them, probably the simplest idea, filling that wick out. I'll add an alert to it. I'm probably never going to trade this coin, but that would be the idea, right? Come and take these lows. That makes sense to me, structurally. Now, did price just go straight up 85, 90% in 15 minutes? Definitely. Would it have to go straight down 52% to get there? Definitely. So I don't know if that's possible. Maybe they have a big news release coming out and their technology is about to change the world. So maybe that won't happen. But that's what I'd be looking for. Can I show you how I set alerts? Just right click and add alert. And then you can drag it around. Might be only on the paid version of TradingView. I can't remember. But some exchanges, like I know Bybit allowed you to set alerts for free. There's lots of apps for checking order flow. I'm using ExoCharts, but there's other alternatives that are free. Like Addis, Coinalyze. Gives you a CVD line, which it's not as detailed, but still useful. But yeah, I think I am gonna sign off. basically just saying, wowzer, probably trade of the day, shorting this. Somebody asked me what I think my biggest, like the hindrance in trading or the thing that would make the biggest impact in my trading, and probably just be, at least this year, not taking profits. Just holding my trades completely to final targets. But also taking profits has its benefits as well. So would have been great to hold this short all the way down to here. Like I said, definitely TP'd, have some of it running. Certainly a really nice, clean setup. Took that on the live stream. This would have really been a nice little long. I probably would just be taking profits on it again. Maybe that would be a mistake. But I guess I just like making money. I like taking profits. I like removing the risk from my trade. I like that idea that I can always find a new trade. I can always get back into the market. I can take these longs. I can take profits. I can add back to my long. I can take profits. Get short. I can take profits. Take profits. Profits. That's the key. And you can always find another entry. Anyways, let's wrap up the live stream. I'll share a bunch of charts tomorrow, and we'll get after it. But I think this is all pretty, I know this might be new to many of you, all pretty standard stuff in terms of like a big liquidation event across alts. I mean, if you don't think this is the kind of thing that's happening all the time in big bullish scenarios, and where everyone's getting too bullish, just open up a chart and go look back at it. Go look at some of your favorite meme coins over the last couple years. All right, I'll chat to you guys later. And for the members here, I'll see you in the LATF tomorrow.